hello, and welcome back to the Earth to Marissa podcast. We have a beautiful guest with us today, SunPsychic Jean. And SunPsychic Jean is a psychic medium who helps you connect with your departed loved ones. Committed to integrity and authenticity, she offers compelling evidence of their presence and connection to you. She delivers messages from your loved ones with care and compassion. Jean will also connect and bring through messages from pets, which is very fun, who have crossed over, confirming the deep unconditional love bond, and that is honored. Beyond connecting with those who have passed, Jean also helps people explore their spiritual journey. With her gentle guidance, she helps you to open doors to your own connection with spirit guides, angels, and higher vibrational beings, allowing insight, healing, and personal growth. Welcome to the podcast, Jean.
Thank you very much, Marissa. That was so sweet. Yeah, it's quite a journey, this spiritual journey that I've been on. But I know that a lot of us in this spiritual community have been coming online and developing skills and having experiences that we may not have had in previous years. So it's just I'm moving along with the energy and vibration of Earth, really.
Yeah, as Earth ascend, may we ascend with her. Yes. And where did this really psychic gift come through? Because I remember you telling me that there was kind of a ghost in your house growing up, and that is when you really first experienced, we're not the only ones here.
Pretty much. I was always sensitive to energy, and I was very interested in feng shui and learning about energy and a little bit about Reiki and learning how to heal with energy. Like, I was always very sensitive to that. And it was when I bought my first house. I bought my first house as a young single woman, and it was like one of those quads. It was like not like a townhouse, but it was like a quad. And so I was there by myself, my very first house, and I would be woken up in the middle of the night at right around the 3 o'clock hour, and sometimes it was 3:33, but not always. And this is when I know this is going out on a limb, but I actually saw the ghost that was in my house, and it sort of broke me open. I mean, I was just I was really just profoundly changed at that moment, and had to go through a lot of training and processing to go through the information to learn exactly what happened. But it is a story. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about the story?
Please dive in, sure.
And like I said, it was my first house, and it was the previous owners had gone through a foreclosure, and they lost the house, and the bank owned it, so I bought it from the bank. But the previous owners had broken back in and destroyed the place. They ran all the water, overflowed, and all the floors were flooded, and you could see right through the ceilings. They jammed all of the drains with like cement and stuff. They ripped out everything. I mean, I had to redo all the electric, all the plumbing, all the drywall and stuff. So it was in disarray, but it was repairable. And when it's your first house, that's what I'm like. Okay, this is what I want. Yep. And I knew that when I went into the house, it kind of had like a kind of a feeling to it, because I was sensitive to energy. But I just felt like it was because of the owners coming in and being just disgruntled, So I fixed it up. I moved in, and I kind of always felt like somebody was watching me. Yeah. And it's like it's only at certain moments that you actually catch the feeling. But you always dismiss it, or you always make up excuses, or, push on. And I had friends come over, and they would say, I just saw something in that corner. And I'd be like, you're just, kidding me or whatever. Yeah. I would never believe anybody.
Oh my gosh.
And until it started happening to me. And I would be woken up And at first I would be woken up by, I heard like a radio, and I didn't have a radio on, but I could hear a radio. And it would wake me up, and I would hear somebody, like if you're sleeping, and I would hear somebody standing by the side of my bed breathing. And
Whoa.
I thought, I know, like I could hear them breathing. And I thought, well, if this is a ghost is dead, and dead people don't breathe. So what, like, I just,
Yeah, what is that?
I couldn't make sense of it. It really didn't make sense. So I would just, get up and turn on the lights or turn on the TV or whatever, trying to push through it. And then finally, it was like 2 weeks of being woken up continuously, and I couldn't get a good night's sleep. And I was, getting high anxiety about being in the house by myself. And finally, one night I was sleeping and I heard something, and I was like laying down, I had my eyes closed, and the only thing I did was open my eyes, and right next to me in the bed was a man.
No.
And it was...
Oh my gosh. No. That's so scary.
And he was like sort of transparent, But
Yeah.
it was like he didn't see me. It was like an energetic imprint is what
That's so
it was like
interesting.
he was going through his own motions, like he didn't see me there. But he was laying down, he kind of sat up on the side of the bed, how you get up, and then he stood up, turned, and walked over to the bathroom. And I was like, and it was like very transparent, but you could see color. And
Yeah.
I screamed this visceral scream that I have never heard before, and come out of me or anybody else. I mean, it was a blood-curdling scream. I quick called my sister and my girlfriend, and they're all like, Jean's having a little stress in her life. Yep, we're going to need to medicate this one.
Yep.
No, but, I mean, they just didn't believe me. So my little sister lived in the area, and she said, why don't you come over to my house, get a good night's sleep, and we'll see what we can do. So I said, okay. So I went over and I spent the night on her couch, and she had a little infant. She had to work the next morning, and so I spent the night on her couch, and she woke up. We woke up the next morning, and she said, did you see any men? Because she thought it was me,
Up here, yeah.
I didn't know where it was coming. I said,
Yeah.
no, I didn't. I said, but it was the best night's sleep I've had in weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was like always on edge. So then I went back home, and I kept being waken up. And so she said, that's it. This weekend I'll come over. I'll spend the night. She had a baby at home, but she still came over my house.
That's so sweet.
She came over in like a tracksuit, and she had her keys. And she said she put her keys down when we were downstairs in the kitchen. We went upstairs to bed, and we just, she was like a mom. She was like, shut off the lights. Like, come on, let's go. Pull up the covers. And we were sleeping. And so in the middle of the night, around the 3 o'clock hour, she like elbows me, and she's like, Jean. I'm like, what? She says, he's here. I said, I know. Because as soon as she went like this, I could feel his presence. And she said, he's sitting on my legs. She couldn't move her legs. And because he was his energy was there where she was laying. And I said, I know. So I quick grabbed her, and we sort of hugged, and we were like, as much as you can wrap yourself around somebody, we were just like screaming, and I was trying to turn on the lights, trying to turn on the TV, and we were just screaming, trying to get, the energy to move away. So she finally, in the middle of all that panic and scream, she was able to move her legs. But I had felt that before in my house. And I had like that, it's called supine paralyzation or sleep paralysis.
Yes.
Where you're awake, but you can't, it feels like your body's asleep, but you're awake. That's also because of energy in your house, or it can be. So she said, I'm really sorry. I didn't believe you. That was that's the freakiest thing I ever saw. If you want to come sleep at my house, So I'm letting you know that I'm here today because she validated what I saw. I think if nobody ever validated, they would always be like side-eyeing me, like, yeah, right.
She's crazy. Well, and that happens so often in our society. These children get diagnosed with schizophrenia or with, like bipolar depression or all of these like weird like mental health labels. And in all actuality, they are just so sensitive. They are so sensitive, and they're picking up on so much. I mean, even when I was in high school, like, now that I know my energy, I understand why I suffered so deeply mentally, surrounded by kids that hated life at the time. You know, it's a hard time in high school for kids, and when you're so sensitive and you don't know the energetic maintenance, or it's not the norm to feel spirits or energies, and you don't know how to navigate that, or you don't even know it's happening, then you just assume it's all you and you take it on. And I mean, I still catch myself today, you know, that's not mine, remove it. That's not mine, remove it. But it's so beautiful that you had such a validating experience. And that's also interesting that everyone else was able to see this particular spirit. Because that's not always the case. Usually, yeah, it's like the one sensitive person. So that's very interesting that he came through for multiple people.
Well, it was actually just my sister that was able to validate, because she was there and she felt him. Yeah,
I like a guest coming over and saying there was something in that closet, is what I meant. Well, yeah.
When what I did was I contacted a medium, funny enough, to come in and help him to cross over. Yeah. And when she did do this for me, she said, you know, there's other spirits in the house too, and you have a portal that's open and it's up, and there was a lot of energy. She said, there's a young boy, there's a young girl, there's a you know, like there were several. So it was an active house. There was an active portal. And she said that this gentleman, I call him a gentleman now, you know, the ghost. She said that he was from the land. He lived on the land before the building of the house that I lived in was built. You know, it was before that. And his wife, he passed before his wife, and he vowed not to cross over before waiting for her, you know, not knowing that if he crossed over, he could still wait for her.
Yep.
So he was always searching and roaming, looking for his wife.
Oh my gosh.
And he thought I was her. And you know what? Who knows? I could have been in a past life. Totally.
That's fascinating. That is fascinating.
So she said that before, she said he was walking across the Rainbow Bridge, is what we call it. You know, before he was moving into the light, he stopped and turned around and he said, "Tell Jean thank you." And this is what the medium said. And then he crossed over. And within, I'd say within 6 months, I met my husband. That today, and I just somehow, some way, it feels connected, because he was searching for his wife.
Yes.
And I don't know if he knew that I was searching for my husband. Like, I was dating, you know, I was still young, but I just think it somehow there's some kind of connection. I can't really, you know.
Yeah, I got full body chills when you said that. So I would have to agree that there is some type of correlation. That's so interesting. Like, one part of his soul, maybe there was a contract for you to help, bring back to the source. And then once that happened, then you could merge in this lifetime. That's so interesting.
It is.
That's beautiful.
It is. And it's, you know, it's not anything that I would wish on anybody. I did feel like I was having a nervous breakdown, because I couldn't tell what was real, what was going on, and why I was feeling so much high vibrational energy that I was just not able to cope with, you know. And I was I am very sensitive, and I call myself HSP, highly sensitive person, because I'm sensitive to sensory and sounds and too many people in a crowd, and, you know, just certain things I'm really sensitive to. But that's what makes me a good psychic and medium, because I'm sensitive to your energy. I'm sensitive to your loved ones on the other side coming through and with a message. I can sense that because I'm very open and sensitive. But it's also hard, because if you're in a crowd of people, you're quite sensitive that way.
Yes, feeling everything. It's definitely good to set, those energetic boundaries. What advice would you have for someone that shares these sensitivities, especially right now on the planet? There is a lot of combustion, a lot of destruction, a lot of movement happening from humans, but also other energy sources, the solar flares. movements in the universe. We are able to feel so much right now, and I feel like it's honestly a great time to learn, and I feel like Spirit saying that. Like, it's a great time to learn because there's so much energy to tap into and to feel. But for someone that's like brand new and it's coming online all right now, do you have any advice on how to navigate those sensitivities?
I think it's really important to take care of ourselves and to sort of make sure that you are in a controlled atmosphere as much as you can by limiting your intake, by limiting your exposure, by limiting, the amount of energy that you subject yourself to, if you can. Sometimes you're in a workplace and you can't do that. But it's really important for us to take the time, just like we take a shower, brush our teeth, and we should also maintain our energy centers, our energy centers or chakras. And going through and doing an energy clearing or a chakra balancing meditation or intention is really very important to help balance and help to maintain the awareness of our center. And when I say of our center, I mean of our soul, of our own, the soul and the spirit aspect of each human. We all have a soul that's inside of us, and it's this soul's vibration that is coming through and wants to express itself. And by balancing those energy centers, we align with our soul's aspect. And it's very beneficial for us when, let's say, the car won't start, and you're like, oh no, the car won't start, and you have a catastrophe of some sort, of any degree, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're off your rocker, you're off your center because you're in a panic. But then it's the muscle of how fast we move back into our center, find our calm state, our focus state, and move forward in knowing who we are, what we are with all of our soul parts, And it's not just not being knocked over by this or not, or whatever happened on the news, or there's a hurricane, or there's, a big fire, and we all feel it. We all get knocked over, and it's not being knocked over. It's about how much we can, that muscle of how quickly and efficiently we can come back to center and be within our own energy and our protective type of energy as well, and move forward from there. And it's walking sort of with your spirit, with the guidance of spirit, with the guidance of your spirit guides, angels, loved ones, higher ascended masters. All of these will be found here in our soul's vibration right here. We all have it.
Yeah. It's been definitely very easy lately, I have found, to be rocked off that center. I haven't been holding that consistent energetic maintenance, and oh my goodness, it shows. I feel it. I just get rocked really easily, and I've been trying to find this kind of balance of detachment almost. I had a guest on a few weeks ago, and she said detachment isn't caring less, it's caring more about your own serenity. And that has stuck with me. And detaching kind of from those outside energies and staying neutral, and that has really helped. But when something kind of triggers, either a belief that's running or a story, I find like it can really rock me, and it has taken a moment to kind of step back into that center. And my muscle, I would love to continue practicing it and just getting to that very grounded, I know who I am, I know my worth. But I think it's definitely easy. I think comparison, another quote, comparison ruins a beautiful thing. If you want to ruin a beautiful thing, just compare it to something else. And I think comparison definitely, through social media, these young people are rocked so easily, not just energetically, but mentally and spiritually, from just comparing and not knowing what their true energy is, and being able to hold that, which is very interesting. And as an elder, you know, doing this for like 25 plus years. I would consider you like in the stage of wise woman, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. What practices have really helped you to know your worth and bring that kind of validation of, okay, I do have this beautiful gift, I do have these sensitivities, and they aren't a burden, but they are something magical and they are something to share? And how do you stay centered in that knowing? And when those energies come to kind of rock you, what has helped you stay?
It's a combination of all of the experiences that I've been through, like the training for Reiki and the training for shamanic energy healing has really opened me up and given me a perspective of what the ego is and what the human experience is, and that we are all one soul, we are all one humanity, we are all one hive mentality, believe it or not, and we are all one. And through this understanding, through my shamanic energy healing experience, and looking at things in a more shamanic view, or a very fundamental view, a very basic humanity type of view, all sentient beings here on this earth, knowing that Gaia is a spirit or an entity, and an energy, a consciousness of her own, and what consciousness is, and that we are all one consciousness. That education, and the way that I had, not that I had to, but I was given the opportunity to tear through, break down some of my stories, my beliefs, my judgments through my shamanic energy healing. I learned how to do healing, and I also learned what I needed to do in order to heal myself and bring myself through to this awareness. And it's a lot about awareness. And that's the key, to be aware that we are a soul, spirit, living a human experience, and to understand that the soul is infinite. We exist through eternity, and we have many experiences. But this is not going to help somebody that is looking to take a college course and they don't know what college course to take. It's really so much more like a macrocosm and a microcosm. But it's important to have the awareness of that loved ones and spirit guides and angels are all around us. And what we can do is really take a note of all those signs and synchronicities that are in all of our lives. If we really just take the time to pay attention, and sort of experience or be aware of the miracles in our life. Being here on earth. I'm giggling because there's a loved one on the other side that said, you're walking on earth. You're walking on earth. It was a brother telling his sister, you are still alive. You still are living this amazing opportunity to be in a human body on earth, that it was such a miracle. And he's like, live every day, through a lot of the messages that I get from loved ones really has afforded me a different lens. And I think that it's hard to just, put it in just one phrase. And if I had to, it would be awareness of who we are, what we're here for, and what miracles are all around us. But those signs and synchronicities are beautiful validation, reminder, comfort, and it builds our awareness. And some people will say, oh, that bird comes around every morning. That's not a sign for me. Or you can say, thank you, bird. Thank you for the sign from my angels and my spirit guides, and give them the benefit of the doubt. And when you if you give your spirit guides and angels and loved ones the benefit of the doubt for coming in and sending you signs and synchronicities, that tells them you're open for more, and it'll start coming in more. And there's things that you just cannot explain that happen to us, and there's just so much more. But I'll just stop there.
No, feel free to keep going. Yeah. The signs and synchronicities really are a beautiful gateway into, oh, I can communicate with all energy around me, which, like you said, is a very shamanic way of thinking and viewing the world. And I would love to tap into this background in shamanic healing. How do you think that set you up to be the psychic medium that you are?
It was the healing that I received through that, going through the process, and the awareness, connecting to your higher self, connecting to your spirit guides and the sentient beings here on Earth, and the energy of the wind, the energy of the sun, the moon, the snake, all the deer, all of this sacred sentient beings that are all here. And it's not that each deer is a sentient being, but it's the consciousness of deer. It's not just the snake that is, all the snakes are conscious beings. It's almost like a hive consciousness. It's the consciousness of snake, and what archetype and what represents snake, and what sacredness snake brings to this earth. Because I also saw in one of my experiences, but each sentient being was seated here on earth, and this might be going out a little bit.
Never too far.
So each different species has been seated here, and we are all here wanting to harmonize and live together. But each one of these sentient beings has a sacred archetype to help us through our own journey and to blend. We all work together. We all harmonize. And I did take somebody. I did a past life. Not a regression, but a past life reading. And I call it going to the halls of knowledge. And we opened one door, and this individual saw like ferns and green and tall grass and all kinds of greenery and stuff. And I said, well, what does this mean? And it was the planet, or the realm, or the this origination of this earth, of the ferns and the plants and the greenery, where it originated before it was seated here on earth. Wow. And it had so much joy. It was so alive. And the plants and the ferns were talking to us, and they were joyous. And they had a consciousness. We are here. We are here. This is where we originate. And we come to your earth, and we play. We cohabitate with all of the other sentient beings. And it had such a strong consciousness that they say that, it was just so profound, so amazing. And we understand why each sentient being has a sacredness and a harmonization. The harmony of all of the sentient beings here on Earth is just an amazing. And this is part of what the shamanic tradition teaches us, to respect all sentient beings and to understand that everything has a consciousness. And then to learn, somebody said, while I'm on YouTube, somebody asked me a question. They said, Jean, what did it mean? I was in my living room and a chipmunk jumped on the screen door. They had a sliding glass door, and she said a chipmunk jumped on the screen door, and the chipmunk just stayed there. And she said the chipmunk was looking right at me, and she said she thought it was like, was that my dad, or was that my spirit guide? Like, what did that mean? And I said, and I checked with my spirit guides, and I got the message. I said, the chipmunk was your mirror. And she's like, oh, okay. So then, 5 or 10 minutes goes by. She goes, Jean, what do you mean the chipmunk was my mirror? Goes,
are you calling me a chipmunk? Like, that's hilarious.
I said, because you saw the chipmunk and you saw the chipmunk spirit, you felt that there was something more to the reason why that chipmunk was hanging there. And it you were aware of the chipmunk having like a consciousness or a meaning behind it, it was your own soul that recognized that chipmunk soul. And it wasn't your brain, it wasn't your ego, it was your soul that recognized that. So the mirror was to mirror your soul, that we are all one, that we are all sentient beings, that your soul saw my soul. And when you look deep into somebody's eyes who you've never met before and you feel that connection, that's a soul connection. And that's what this chipmunk, and yeah, it was a sign from a spirit guide, or I don't know, but it was a mirror also for her to be recognizing her own soul. And this is what her soul feels like when she looks at that chipmunk and feels like, this means something. What did that mean? That just meant something, and it's our soul recognizing it. And it's important to understand there's an ego and an analytical side to us, and there's also a creative or spiritual side to us. And this is what we're moving into, this balance as we're moving into the new energies of Earth.
And speaking of balancing, that was one of my questions. When we are this sensitive and we can communicate with all of these energies, we have this shamanic background, there's a balance between what is here present, which is still a lot of 3D, and the higher dimensions, and bringing those into balance and harmony. And I have found, sometimes me and my friends talk about, it's like we feel our soul is like not meant to be like in this society, like working giving 40 hours of our energy a week just away and being drained. And like we have all of this expression and these gifts and like these sensitivities and these creations that are flowing through us. And then also, we do hear the trees, we do hear the animals, we are in touch with the water, the wind, the fire, the earth, like all of this energy. And it's this balance right now of having to live both. And that can be a little challenging sometimes when your soul knows. I feel like I've cried so many times because I know what my soul knows and I can feel it so deeply. And what is outside of me, what I see, what's happening on earth is just not what I know to be true as, this high vibrational being. How do you balance both of them? Have you found? Yeah.
And that's why we are here, actually. We're the transition team.
The way showers.
We're the team that has 1 foot in the 3D, and we'll end up in the 5D. And through this transition, it's very difficult to navigate both. But you were born with this. I was not. I was trained in this. I was born with that sensitivity, but you were born with the knowing. And each generation, as they're born, as they come in with this a greater awareness and sensitivity. And the old, heavier, denser energies will no longer be serving the lighter, more sensitive, more awareness type of energies, and it will fall away. And as we see, there's systems that are falling away that are just not serving us and is not life affirming or love affirming or leaning or beneficial to evolution. And the evolution of humanity is bringing us to a higher vibration, but a more beautiful awareness. And we're being, with each choice of each day in our lives, the way we choose to treat ourselves, talk to ourselves, treat other people, talk to other people, the choices that we make for our jobs, our careers, and how much time, how much balance, life-work balance, whether it's something that feeds our soul or supports our energy or drains our energy. These choices are hard choices for us to make. But if you feel that you're being drained or that you have a dense energy type of workplace, that's your cue that you're meant to be in the team that is moving forward into evolution and towards a higher vibrational existence of humanity. it's really and it is difficult, but we are the warriors. We are the ones who chose to be here at this time during this transition. And it's almost like when you say, I don't know, like all the people that came over and colonized the Americas, and how brave they were, and how could they have ever lived, like, with all they knew was England, all they knew was Europe, and they were all coming over here, and they had to change and become something new and create something new. And that's, I mean, it's not exact, but it's almost this way that we're coming from one tradition or one conditioning, one societal norm, and we're moving into something new that we are creating. And the people and the settlers were creating what they wanted is the same way we're going to be creating what we want. If you don't want a job that is draining your energy, it's important for us to create our own way of creating a balanced way of, I don't want to even say earning income, because it's an energy balance, a way for you to be of service that people would want to give you a gratitude or
an
hire
energy
you
exchange
for that
for it.
service.
Yeah.
And find this for yourself. And the days of, it's really, everything is changing. But one thing I brought through for somebody, they said, Jean, I keep feeling like I should write a book. And I don't know, I keep starting it, but I can't finish it. And I don't know why I keep wanting to write a book. Who's going to want to read this? And so I checked with my spirit guides. I sit back, I close my eyes, and I check with my spirit guides. And I said, they need us to record what it was like for each human to go through their own experience. They're going to look back and say, remember when it used to be that way? I wonder how they did it. I wonder what they were thinking. I wonder how horrible it was for them that they never want to go back, and how much it's important for us to keep this going. For them to learn and to validate or record the actual history of humanity going through this evolution and how it used to be. Just like maybe we look back at the history of Egypt, and or if we look back at the history of Lemuria, or we look back at the history of Atlantis, or and we don't know what each individual soul was feeling or going through at that time. We can tap into the energies and things, but they say that this is the time that they want us to record it in any way that you can. You and I are recording it right here, right now.
Yes, indeed we are. Yes. And that's probably why I have felt the call to journal a lot more. I took a little stint away from journaling, and now I've been feeling the call to jump back in and write a book. And I am receiving these symbols for an oracle deck. I have like my own little, I'm trying to find it. It's down there. I can't quite reach it, but they're on my YouTube. And I just, I love that. And I know that this is what my soul is meant to do. Like, there's just so much creation flowing through and new ways to help humanity. But yes, I definitely can sometimes get down with just I still have, that 1 foot in the 3D, and I show up to work, and I do my thing, and I am lucky to have a job that I enjoy most of the time, but I'm learning how to bring the high vibrations to that, and stay in it and not let it take me out of that. I can sometimes get dysregulated we get very busy, and so I'm like rushing around, but then Spirit yesterday was like, you set the pace, and it's bringing this knowledge, bringing this soul awareness into the vibration, which will then change our customers that come in, or the workplace in general. And too, I think it's so interesting. Ever since I started, we've hired a few new people, and each one is very spiritual, and each one is very much so like-minded. And I think that's beautiful, and it is this like little safe haven. But just the balance can be a little challenging sometimes, and definitely I get down, because I'm like, if I could just pour in all of this energy to me and my creations, and expanding and sit in my own energy and help the earth, and it would be amazing. And we're headed there, and that's the Remembrance.
I think I'm excited about your oracle deck. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
And that's the creation. That's it. And your spirit guides will be offering you, or the universe will be offering you opportunities. And it's really important for us to at least to attempt to start it or to move in that direction. Because sometimes, like I see somebody singing on a stage with a spotlight, and I see like Barbara Streisand, that's what I see when I see somebody who's meant to be on stage or to be, but it doesn't mean that you need to be on that stage and be that person under that spotlight. What it means is start training your voice. It's just move into that direction. Yes. Start toning, start humming, start singing, start practicing your voice, because this is what is required. You're going to need to use that someday. And they say, I'll never be a singer on stage. And, from this point, you haven't even sung a song yet, but from this point, how could you see yourself there?
Yes.
But Spirit is showing you that because they want you to start moving in that direction. They don't want you to figure out how to get on that stage tomorrow. So when we're being guided and we're being given opportunities, it's almost like this could be a possibility for you. So you want to move in that direction. So if creating an oracle deck or having an Etsy page or whatever, just move gently into that direction and allow yourself that time to be creative. And it's not the getting rich quick really is, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. And another time they showed me that the woman said, when will I ever be successful? Or when will I ever get my house? Or when will I ever... She was like trying to figure out when she was ever going to be able to get ahead. And I said, you know what? If you're here and the mountain is here. And I said, if you went today and got to the top of that mountain, you would be like, what's wrong? Why am I here? Where is everybody? You would not be satisfied. There is no growth there. And this is not the gold. This is not the richness. This is not the wisdom. It's the journey in taking the steps, in toning your voice, in practicing in creating your cards, in doing the podcast and learning and meeting new people at work. It's the journey, and the experience is the gold. When we reach the top, we'll have gained all that experience, that wisdom, and that is the goal. So it's in between these 2 points. It's not getting the Maserati that's the goal. It's figuring out how to do it, and having your priorities in order, helping other people, being, it's all that in between that is the purpose, that is the reason why we're here. The goal is just the direction that we're moving in. And the woman said, that makes so much sense. She's like, I like the pressure of being everything to like she sees other people being it. I can't be the singer on stage, but I can start humming. I can start training my voice and having light language come through. You never know why they're directing you towards this goal. The universe has more opportunities for us than we could ever fathom.
Imagine,
so whenever you say, please universe, please, bring me my truest desires, this or something more, something better, this or something better. And it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah.
This reminds me of a message I recently got for Starseeds, where it's kind of like this energy of being hit with this enthusiasm to start something. And it's like, oh my gosh, yes, it's coming through, it's clear, it's ready. And it comes through, and you may do it for a little bit, and then maybe it that passion falls off, or that passion changes, or you aren't meant to do the full thing. But Spirit showed me this beautiful grid and map within our own soul and being, and that when we get these sparks of information or the sparks of passion, it lights up that little light bulb in the grid, and it's either a soul remembrance that lights up, or it's knowledge that came in from a past life, or it's, you know, in this lifetime you took that step because it was leading you somewhere else, and it actually like put you in the right place. And it's this like light bulb of the grid. And as these little sparks, like, you were never meant to maybe do that thing full time, or to have that be the way that, yeah, you're going to make or break it all. It's just the lighting of the grid. And as these little lights up, or these little lights light up, it creates the whole picture. And then that whole picture is really the mission, why we are here, like the full kind of beautiful skill that we have. And it is a little bit of Reiki, it is a little bit of feng shui, it is a little bit of psychic mediumship or shamanic healing, oracle cards. Like, it all comes together to then create this beautiful existence through you, which that really, hearing that from spirit really helped, because I have definitely gotten like, and I know a lot of other people, they've gotten these hits, these very strong hits, and then they start it and then it kind of falls off, and then they get discouraged because it's like, what's wrong with me? Like, why can't I keep something going? Or I thought this was it, but now I'm being like turned in a direction. And I think it's discouraging because of the pace at which it happens. Like, it can just be really fast, but Earth is moving really fast right now, and a lot of momentum is picking up, and the ball is rolling so quickly that we are changing very fast. And what may have took 5 years for that light bulb to light up might take a week for some people now. And so I've talked to some friends, and that message resonated with them as well. It's like, oh, okay, like, these are just little soul remembrances, soul pings, if you will, that are leading to that grander picture, which is really cool.
It's a co-creation. They the universe cannot do it for us. We have to do it. We have to make the choices. We have to put the action in place. It's important to take the inspiration and to move forward with it, and to really make the choices. And if it's really truly something that you'd like to do, that you want to do, or just interested in learning more about, that's fine. But if the inspiration falls down, it's because you've received the message. Like, if you feel guided and inspired and energized to, take a Reiki class, and then you're there in class and you're like, where was all that inspiration now? It's because you took the action. You're there now. Just live it. You're here living it. So live it, and your next inspiration will move forward. It's not going to feel that energetic charge, that spiritual energy, that inspiration, or that that lift in our energy when we feel that. That will not be consistent, because once we take, it's almost like they're giving us the baton. Now the baton is in our hands, and it's our own free will to do it. And you say, Spirit, if this is meant for me to do, please guide me in my next step. If this is meant for me to do, please find me a way to get back and forth without having to drive across town. If this is meant for me to do, allow me to be on a podcast where I can speak my truth. If this is meant for me, please show me the way. Please show me a sign, and to guide me, and to know that you're being guided. And they want you to have confidence and conviction in yourself that it is something that you truly desire, because they can't tell you what you desire. They can give you an inspiration, and not everything does pan out. And I understand. I went through, I'm like, why am I taking Reiki if I can't find anybody to practice on? I have to practice. I did Reiki shares, but that's just not quite enough. And then I did crystal healing, and then I did, it's like, why am I doing this and here, all of that led to this. You never know. It's exactly. As long as you're doing what is something that you love, that you feel, that leaves you wiser and more aware, opens you up. There's so much energy healing, just meditation, awareness, energy. There's just so much out there. I did a show on relaxation yesterday, and there's just so much out there. Somatic energy healing, flower essences. There's just so many different
modalities.
things to learn to find if it sparks a interest in you, if it's something that will lead you to the next opportunity. But I do know that we're all here for a reason, and that they need all of us. So if you are spiritually minded, if you feel as though you have inspiration, intuition, or a psychic skill, it's really important that you honor that and pursue it, so that when they're going to need all of us, there's going to be a time where a lot of humanity, a large portion of humanity will be lost, and they will be living in a spiritual sort of energy, and they'll be like, I don't get it. So they need all of us to help and to guide, but we're all coming in with our awareness and our abilities in order to strengthen our own skills and our own awareness and our own energies, so that we could be the guide for the next generation, not necessarily born, but the next group of people who say, oh my gosh, I see people in my kitchen now, Jean, what does that mean? And they've had an experience that you've had. It really is sort of that type of an energy that I feel coming in, but they do need all of us. And Marissa, I mentioned it to you before, but you have a very beautiful healing and calming frequency to your energy, and it comes through your voice, and there's a vibration and a harmony that is very telling. And you may not understand all of the things that you do have within your own at your ready, all of the tools, all of the abilities that you have, that you are just now beginning on and beginning to use or beginning to be aware of. And it will evolve, and that's what we're all about. What I was doing 2 years ago is not the same level of what I'm doing now. Even though I'm doing the same thing, it evolves, and your audience evolves, and your abilities evolve, your opportunities evolve. And it's so very exciting. But I think that there's a beautiful, bright future for you, and I'm just really happy to have shared space with you, and hopefully we can do something together again.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for that encouragement. I really do appreciate it. I mean, that really touched me, and I had, tears when you originally kind of mentioned that to me, just to see someone that has been in the practice for so long, and then for them to feel or to share their experience, what they felt when they were experiencing my energy. Yeah, it's beautiful, and I'm really, really grateful.
I found you on YouTube, actually. Yeah. I was watching your podcast, and the vibration of your voice, and I recognized it. It was like it resonated with me, and I felt like I knew this feeling, the resonance, this high vibrational energy coming from you. I am familiar with that. I connect to that, and I was like, wow. She really has something. She really is carrying this energy with her. She really is bringing this energy through her. And I felt the authenticity of your voice and the harmony of your voice. And it is really very special. So thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And too, what you said about the singer being on stage but humming just now, it's so true. And I feel like all my life I get like premonitions like 10 plus years in advance. Like when I was in early high school, I knew I wanted to do YouTube. I was going to be a YouTuber, and like that's all I wanted to do. That's all I could think about. And I didn't know what that looked like. Back then I used to make like silly videos, but now I see it. I see it clearly now. And I feel like even with the sensitivities, like being very young, I wanted to be a teacher. And I thought that only looked like, okay, well, I'll teach 7th grade or something. But now I see the grander scope, and it's, these premonitions. And I feel like a lot of people have those. You look back at, when they were younger, well, what did you love to do, and how that correlates to the grander mission that they have come into and are here for. And you kept saying they. Who is they to you? As they need us all here right now. They need us all, For someone, I feel like I know what you're saying, but for someone who might not know what you're saying, who is they to you?
The spiritual realm, and it's, we can say our angels, our spirit guides, our loved ones, the universal energies, the galactic realm, the other races that are the other intelligent beings or sentient beings and consciousness out in the other realms, the angelic ninth dimensional realm, all of these consciousness, all of these sentient aware beings are very much focused on Earth right now, and they're helping us. And a lot of these beings are also where we were seeded from, or where we originated from, or where some of our past lives may have been from to get our education. Like if we were to have a past life on the Palladian stars system, or the star, one of the stars, and we would now be here, we would have memories or intelligence or access to communication to the Palladian information and guidance from them. So it could be any or all of the above, and it's individual. But when you said that you were a teacher, I was going to butt in and say, you've always been a teacher. And this is why you want to be a teacher, because you were before, and this is your soul wanting to express the teacher that and the vibration and frequency that teacher means for your soul, because your soul has lived this and done this before, and this is your expression here in this world. But you, each one of us, not just you, not just me, not because all we're here on the screen here, it is everybody here that is watching. Each one of us is here for a very important reason, for a very important aspect, a very important cog in the wheel, a very important player. And we're all here together, and we all have known each other in different lifetimes before. We're not here alone. We're not just moving through this lifetime in an unknown field. It is something that we've all experienced before, and I feel as though we're all connected, and we just have this awareness and ability to connect and to be one unit, one awareness, one consciousness. So I think that each and every one of us, especially the people that are watching, you have no idea the importance that you hold. And you're almost bringing not the seeds, but the information and the downloads and what would you call activations of anything that we're saying here go into you. And what we're saying is a frequency and vibration that ripples out. And by you listening to this, you who are listening to this will pick up on these frequencies and vibrations. And when you hear something else, you'll be like, oh, I know that frequency and vibration, and you won't know where you felt it from, and you'll be attracted to it, and then you'll start attracting other people in that frequency and vibration, and we'll start. It's really, each one of us is a huge part of this whole.
Yes, and it's coming back to what you said earlier when you were talking about shamanism, like each consciousness, collective consciousness is here and trying to create harmony with one another, because the harmony that is created on Earth ripples out into the universe. Earth is the micro of the macro, and it's this testing ground, this place where we are able to come and live out these lessons and missions and work with one another, so it doesn't have to happen outside in the universe. And we could get into all of that. I
think that somebody put it to me very plainly, and it made a lot of sense that our mission and the reason why we are moving into the 5D is to bring heaven here on Earth.
Yep.
And that is a higher vibrational frequency, an awareness, a kindness, telepathy, and everything that is available in heaven. And I had somebody just tell me, somebody asked for a message from their brother. This is somebody different. I know there's a lot of them, and so she said, my brother just passed. How's he doing? And he's saying he's fine. He's there with his loved ones. He's there with his dog. And she was like, oh my gosh, his dog's there, And then I said, but he tells me that he's helping other people. And he just, he said, all I would do is put my mind to helping people here on earth or helping people when they cross over. And he says he just thinks about it and has an intention in his mind to help this person. He said, this is what I'm doing in heaven. He said, it's really neat. And then he turns to me like this and he says, you can do this too. And he's talking to his sister. He says, sister, wow. Here on earth, when you put your intention on something and you desire to have something done, it is your intention is worth and powerful enough to have that happen. And it's through our intentions and through our kindness and through sending love and through sending best wishes to people and through having our intention to bring spirituality into our workplace. Whatever your intention is if it's of the love light vibration, if it's for the highest good for everybody involved, and it's not in a detriment or trying to take away from somebody, that'll never work. It's really important to work on that love vibration. But when he turned and looked at me, I said, he's telling you can do this too.
We can all do it. Yeah. That's amazing. That's beautiful. I love the stories and hearing the messages from spirit because you have such a close connection and you have so many experiences with all these different spirits, and so the knowledge base is just endless there, and that is so beautiful that you get to then share that with community, whether it's on your channel or here or just in your day-to-day.
It is mind-blowing. It certainly is mind-blowing, and it has changed me forever. I don't look at life in the same way, and now that I have the connection or the communication with the loved ones on the other side, I learn every time I do a reading, and this is my intention. Tell me something that'll help me to learn more about, my life, your life, and that would help the client. And I had... You want me to tell you one that'll knock your socks off?
Yes.
There is this client of mine, and she was asking for a reading about her job, and she was asking for a reading about her moving and stuff, like really, regular stuff. And then we had maybe 10 or 15 minutes left, and she's like, well, she said, I don't have any time left. She goes, can you do like a past life reading? And I said, I can't do a whole thing, but I could just peek in and see what I see, like kind of give you like an overview of what I see. And so it was really like at the end, it was really just quick. And I said, I see you. And you're a deputy. You're not a sheriff, you're a deputy, and you're in the Old West, like the gold rush days, and you had a horse, and you were going through the town, and all of the people loved you. When you were in town, they really felt safe. And when the sheriff was in town, like he was a drinker, he was a womanizer, and like they didn't feel safe with him. He was just for show, But when the deputy was in town, they knew that they could trust him. They knew he had integrity and that he would protect them. So this deputy was loved by everybody, and he loved his horse. He had this horse, and this horse was like a cinnamon colored horse, and it had like a blonde stripe down the nose of the horse, and it also had like a blonde like chest area of the horse. And he loved this horse because he used to have to go from town to town. In between, he would have to hunker down and sleep, and the horse would keep him warm, keep him protected, and warn him if there was predators around. And the horse relied on him to keep him fed, to keep him watered, to help the horse survive. So they had this mutual, really unconditional love bond between this deputy and his horse. And so I was describing this, and she said, Jean, look. And she had her phone in her hand, and she turned her phone around and showed me. And she had a dog that was laying on the bed with her when she was getting the reading. Her dog is a cinnamon-colored dog.
Oh my gosh.
With a blonde stripe down the nose and a blonde stripe on the chest.
Holy cow. Oh my gosh.
And so I was telling this to one of my colleagues, one of my friendly psychics that I chat with. And she goes, well, Jean, you know why that is? And I say, no. She goes, you know that dogs and horses reincarnate. And that's like a thing that they
Oh my
usually...
gosh. I had no idea.
I didn't know that.
No, I've never heard that either. Holy cow.
Wow. Holy horse, right?
Holy horse. Holy horse.
And it blew, I mean, my mouth was like this for, and she has no idea. I mean, that just changed me. It shifted me. Like I felt, I knew something before that reading, and after witnessing that, I mean, there was no doubt. She said, I always knew that this dog was more than just a dog, that we had a soul bond together, and that, and she actually worked in law enforcement. So she was also a deputy. Yeah. So she was like wild. All of this. She said, I was getting head to toe chills when you were saying, and it was, but she said, this dog means so much to me. And she said, it's not normal. She said, I've had dogs before, and this is really special. This dog feels like somebody that really loves me, that I can count on. And she said, when you described how this man felt about his horse is the way I feel about this dog. And I was like, I'll never be the same again. I will never take anything so lightly or so, take it for granted. It shifted me. I learned something. I expanded. My awareness is new. And by me telling you this, your awareness is now different. You have changed, And this is all about it. It's all for the same reason, for us to move and for evolution and for us to move into this higher density. And this is what we're going through right now.
Yes, on Earth. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is truly beautiful and magical. And it's interesting how similar these other lifetimes are to the current one that we are living. I have also given some past life readings, not regression, but like tapping in for people. And I actually received a past life visual of me and my partner the other day on Valentine's Day. We were doing partner yoga and like a sound healing thing, and the similarities is so interesting that we are incarnating not like different, absolutely different, but also like there are such subtleties of similarity, and it's really interesting to just see how it's very similar timelines, but just shifted over a little bit. And like, this is what our soul came here to learn, and it's learning through all of these. Do you feel like souls have like these, when a soul comes into Earth, they have this overarching, okay, through all of these lifetimes, no matter what it is, I have this overarching kind of lesson or focus that I want to pinpoint on? Or do you think through each incarnation, the lessons that we are learning are through the past experiences that we've had on Earth? Do you understand my question? Yeah, that was a very, yes.
I think it's a little bit of both, because what I was told is that in this incarnation, because we're going through this transformation, this transition, this, there's another word for it that I had on there. Let me see
Ascension?
what it's called. Pardon?
Ascension?
Yeah, it is. It is the ascension, and it's also, it's it's transcendence as
yes.
well. So what this is that and this is Spirit's message to me, that our soul and our soul's vibration is in this incarnation is different, because in this incarnation we have the ability to tap into the resources of our soul's history, our soul's knowledge, our soul's memory, our soul's past experiences, and using your teacher that you were to come through in this world, to understand and to grow and to be, because we need all of the resources of all of the experiences that we've had collectively.
Yes.
And it's here right now for all of us to have, to use. Mine is right here. It's right. It is right. It is below the collarbone and above the breastbone. But this is where it's like a high heart, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
But this is where my soul's vibration resides, and this is where I connect to loved ones, and where I connect to you, where I connect to anyone who I do a psychic reading for. If I connect to your pet and do a psychic reading for, this is where I connect to them, and it is through all of my lifetimes, all of the memories, all of the experiences that I've ever used is at on hand for me to access if I need it. So we're much more equipped in this incarnation than we have ever before. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think it does. And that is fascinating. Like we came here, with the access to all of it, because we need all of that information to move forward and actually make the shift on Earth that is being asked of us to make.
Oh, that's beautifully said. Yeah. Yep.
And that's interesting. I'm going to sit with Spirit and try and find my access point, because I think it's easy when you do start learning about energy and the energy system in the body to just kind of go off of the collective, like, access point, like the heart, or like the solar plexus is for this. But it's interesting that it could differ on people, like where their access point is, because some people it might be, yes, the solar plexus, but other people it's the third eye, or it's just very different. So I'm going to sit with that and see where that is.
I think one of my strongest clairs is my clairsentience. That's why I'm so sensitive. And then my claircognizance as well, my knowing. And then my third eye, and then all the other ones. But, and it is through, if you have one clair that's stronger than the other, it is through using that clair and utilizing that clair, practicing with that clair, that opens up the other clairs. You'll be like, oh, I just heard something. I've never heard that before. Why am I hearing that? Or if you have clairsentience, you'll be like, I just saw something in my mind's eye. And I'm used to hearing, So they sort of open each other up. Running your chakra energy centers and balancing and clearing and healing your energy centers, and this is going back to the very first question that you asked me. And your auric, taking care of your auric field, taking care of the human body container, and really taking care of your being kind to yourself. Your thoughts are really important, and your intake. So really taking care of this container and all of its all of what you expose to yourself, and all the different things that are available out there. If you make the choice to be kind to yourself and to do things that are in your highest good and in your human container, this human container is carrying your soul's vibration, and we want to be as grateful and as kind and as supportive to this brave, energetic, physical being that is here carrying our spiritual being. And that's the way I try and look at it, because a lot of people don't like to be kind to themselves. They don't like, they put themselves last. I don't need a massage. I don't, and it's really important that we take care of this body, and we take care of this mind, and we take care of this heart. It's carrying a very, very valuable and miraculous vibration right here.
That was beautifully said. Yes. And that might be why you feel the call to be eating cleaner or to be detoxing right now. Like, through ascension symptoms, you're gonna start feeling the push to take care of your body and listen to that, because it is so, so very important. Thank you so much for all of these beautiful messages. And I'm realizing I was so excited, I just jumped in. I forgot to ask you your affirmation that you've been working with lately. Would you like to share that real quick?
Yeah. I really, there's one, I have found these and they just really resonate with me. And the information is, I'm in harmony with my thoughts, emotions, and I choose to cultivate positivity in my life. And it's just that simple. And words are spells, right? They carry resonance, they carry frequency. So it's really important that we say these things. Another one is, today I choose calm over chaos, serenity over stress, peace over perfection, grace over grit, and faith over fear.
Snaps for that. Snaps for that. Yes.
And one last one that I'd like
Yes,
to share
please.
with everybody.
Yes, please.
Understanding yourself is power. Loving yourself is freedom. Forgiving yourself is peace. Being yourself is bliss.
Soaking in all of those codes. Loving yourself is freedom. That really, really resonates. And forgiving yourself is peace. Yes. I saved all of your affirmations that you sent to a little sticky note on my laptop so I can journal them and keep them with me, because they are, yes, words are so powerful. And if we can just continue to state and then feel the vibration of the words, life does get smoother, especially when you were saying taking care of the body and really treating this vessel with the utmost respect and kindness. The more we do that, the easier life can get. And it's not necessarily that life gets easier, but it's how we move through those changes and transitions. And like you said in the beginning, come back to that center. It's a lot easier when we do take care of ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally.
You're extremely wise beyond your years, Marissa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me and sharing this time together with me. You and I could talk for hours and not run out of stuff to talk about.
So long. I know. Well, Jean, where can people find you?
Well, I am SunPsychic Jean, and you can find me on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, and my website is all SunPsychic Jean. And SunPsychic is one word, but everything is all one word anyway. But that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. Well, go check her out. I know I'm very curious about signing up for a reading soon, so I may do that. You may see me on your website. But thank you so much again for sharing this, and I'll put all of the links and descriptions below so you can easily find SunPsychic Jean. And thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you, and cheers to more collaboration in the future. Yes. Thank you. Blessings, everyone.